Well. It's been 3 weeks since I uploaded my last video, and it is time to check in with you guys. Do we need a monthly recap? I think we need a monthly recap. Okay, first of all, finals, did it. I passed my classes with all A's and 1B. Second of all, my TikTok's been blowing up. Thank you to all my TikTok supporters. I love you. Third of all, Christmas is around the corner, and I've been so busy getting gifts together and like all this stuff. And the cherry on top of this month is that my computer broke down, so I couldn't even edit. So I was like, what's the point of uploading on YouTube if I have no resource to do so? Oh, by the way, yes, I did set up my mic today, but it doesn't even work. Because guess what? Your girl got a Mac. And look, there's no adapter for this. So I was on Amazon this morning searching for an adapter. When I say this was a strange study that the Lord sent me on, and I don't know why he sent me on this, but this will be a series on my channel. I hope it will be a series, but I think definitely I will continue wanting to study more about demonology. Now, if you clicked on this video and you want more information on demonology, I'm your girl. You should sit down because I have some information on Moloch today. Moloch isn't the name of this demon. Moloch means king in Hebrew, or like Lord, you know? So, do we actually know the name of the deity that the Canaanites and Mennonites were worshiping? No. So my big question was, who is behind this deity? What demon is actually behind this deity? Random question I wanted to be answered. Did I get my answer? Not really. There wasn't any sources that could actually provide my answer, but I did make an educated guess, and I'm okay with my educated guess. Let's dive right into this video and all the information around Moloch, because I think you're interested just as I am, right? Right? Are you? Are you? The Canaanites were like, oh my gosh, God, you're like not doing enough. We're gonna worship this bull-headed statue now because that's better than trusting an all-living God. And we're gonna sacrifice our children to this deity and also perform parties because like that deity right there, dude, he's like the fertility of the land. So if we like burn our babies and like smashing parts together as a group, we're gonna actually have a fertile land. Even though you created the land, I think that's our better option. Yeah, I'm gonna go. You're invited. I mean, if you want to come, like, not really. You're not really invited. You're not invited. That's basically the Canaanites and the Mennonites towards God while they were worshiping this deity. My boyfriend did say, he was like, dude, were these people like actually idiots? I'm like, it seems like it, but we do that to God on a daily. I don't know. They would perform these rituals of sacrificing their children and having to allow this deity to give them the fertile land. So when the food was getting scarce, they would do this so the God would step in. People will do horrible stuff in desperate times, like not worship the living God that had connection with them. But that's just their thing. Okay, we know what they did to worship this demon to get something a little bit out of it. Maybe they saw a miracle or two. Maybe they saw something happen. But what's the history, you know? I started to look at the history of this demon. Another source I found said Moloch worship wasn't limited in Canaan. Monoliths in North Africa bear the engraving MLK, offer written in MLKMR, which may mean sacrifice of lamb and sacrifice of man. In North Africa, Moloch was renamed as Kronos. Then Kronos migrated to Greece, and his mythology grew to include his becoming a Titan and father of Zeus. Moloch is affiliated with and sometimes equated to Baal, although the word Baal was also used to designate any god or ruler. So after the Canaanites and the Mennonites were over, like, I don't know if they were still worshiping this thing, but it moved down to North Africa, and they reinvented Moloch and the idea of Moloch as Kronos. And then it started Greek mythology. So you're saying the Canaanite demon they were worshiping is now the Greek? Yeah. When I heard that piece of information, I was like, wow, okay, so, that's great. Then I started wondering, okay, so Moloch is now reinvented as Kronos. Our big question of the day is what demon is behind this identity of Moloch? And I started thinking Asmodeus, because these people were having, like, parties and like obviously lusting and fertility, and it's about like procreation. So I was thinking lust, but I was like, no, what is a character? Like that's what they did to worship it, But what is the character of that deity? Because you can do things to worship a deity. You can commit any sin to worship a demon, but that doesn't mean that is the character of the demon. Stick with me. To know the characteristics of this deity, you have to know the information of the character of Kronos. Well, we have more information on Kronos because Kronos and Moloch are the same thing. They just took the name and reinvented it as a different name. Still the same deity, just reinvented. I know Greek mythology, yeah, it's all a myth, but it is true. These Greek gods did walk among people. These Greek gods did have children with women. They did make demigods. This is also biblical. Demons did walk amongst women and did make all these other horrible demon babies and twisted figures and stuff. Like, that is biblical. That did happen. What is the characteristics of Kronos? I started learning, what is behind the identity. Well, what happened at Kronos? What is the Greek mythology behind Kronos? He was known as the god of time. Okay, god of time and fertility. Also sometimes the god of war. In the art depicting Kronos, insert image, he was depicted as an old man holding an implement, probably originally a sickle, but now interpreted as a harp or a curved sword. And guess what? A couple days ago, before I even started this study, what? I knew this was spiritually led for me to figure this out. It gives me chills. It gives me chills. It low-key gives me chills because I'm exposing hell. I'm exposing hell right now and they're pissed. Something's going on. There's something going on. And let me read this entry from Britannica to you guys. In Greek mythology, Kronos was the son of Uranus, heaven, and Gaia, earth. Being the youngest of 12 titans, under the advice of his mother, he castrated his father with a harp, thus separating heaven from earth. Who fell from heaven and earth? Who separated heaven and earth? Who committed the first sin? Continuing, he now became the king of Titans and took for his consort his sister, Rhea, and she bore him Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, all of whom he swallowed because his own parents had warned that he'd be overthrown by his own child. When Zeus was born, however, Rhea hid him in Crete and tricked Kronos into swallowing a stone instead. Zeus grew up, forced Kronos to disgorge his brothers and sisters, waged war on Kronos, and was victorious. After his defeat by Zeus, Kronos became, according to the different versions of his story, either a prisoner in Tartarus or king in Elysium. According to one tradition, the period of Kronos' rule was the golden age for mortals. The golden age. After reading that story, Kronos is a character that loves power, glory, and doesn't want to give up anything. He wants to be king. Why did Lucifer fall from heaven, class? Oh, he wanted to be God. That's why Kronos did everything evil that he did, because he wanted to stay king. He didn't want to fall. He didn't want to share power. By the way, this is the same character as Moloch, but I bet the Canaanites and the Mennonites didn't have that big of a connection with him. The demon was getting all the worship he needed. Why would a demon stoop down to these people and talk to them and try to let them know his character? So before I released my TikTok video about this information, I was having a lot of lustful dreams that night. And it made me wake up in the morning before I, was gonna film. I was like, well, maybe it's Asmodeus. I know it's either Asmodeus or Lucifer, one of these demons. It's either lust or pride. Of course, Lucifer would distract me from himself. He would twist my thoughts. But I'm slick. Okay, I have the spirit of the living God within me. I know your tricks. So I'm like, this is Lucifer. Am I set in stone that Moloch is Lucifer? Yeah. Why? Even though all of my information is based off of mythology, mythology is not all truth, okay? There's no other information I can gather from scripture about this demon. There's no account about his characteristics. There's no account about his actual name. There's no account of any of this. But it doesn't surprise me that Greeks do have information on him at all. It doesn't surprise me at all. I also have a small little conspiracy theory that all the Greek gods are some type of demon and ran by some demon. I don't know. What are your opinions? Who do you think is behind the idea of Moloch? Who do you think? What's its name? Okay? Because if you know my name, if demons hide behind other characters and you know all my insecurities and know all about my life, I want to know about your life. What did you do? What did you do on your time on earth to get rid of Jesus? What did you do? I want to know, okay? You know about me, I want to know about you. Shut up. If we're at war and we're waging war against each other every single day I live, I got to know information about you. Get away from me, demons. I cannot wait for the day that Lucifer is defeated. I cannot wait for the day that I will watch him be sent to hell. Oh, I'm going to stand there and be like, bye. Speaking of goodbyes, I think this wraps up the video. I think this is all the information I have on this right now, but this series will continue. If you guys are interested, please leave a comment if you want to know more information around Greek gods or who's behind Greek gods and things like that. I know there's a lot. I usually I didn't do my usual intro. My usual intro wasn't there. I'm changing it up. I'm seeing what I want to do. But guys, thank you so much for chiming in for another video. I love you all so much. Godspeed. Bye.